Hello everyone. I'm so happy to be back with you again. This is Mrs. Green, and today we are going to create what is called an assemblage. This is a art form that was really practiced a lot by a lot of artists, but one of the most famous ones is Joseph Cornell. You can see his work at this website below. Check it out. Um, Look at his assemblages. And an assemblage is an arrangement, it's an artwork that's created by arranging um, found objects or disparate things, so things that don't belong together. You're still thinking about composition, you're still thinking about balance, so making sure the eye is moving around. And this is an example that I created for you, and I'm going to show you guys how to make this. But you notice that I'm thinking about things are going across because you're thinking in 3 dimensions because you're inside of a box. So when you're doing an assemblage, it's not just what's on the paper or what's in the back, but it's what's going off and creating different dimensions. So now you're thinking of your composition not just in 2 dimensions, but in 3. So you guys are going to hopefully have a lot of fun with this. You're going to need a box of some kind. So if you don't have a cigar box lying around, but you have other things, other kinds of boxes, whatever box you have will work. Shoe boxes, tea boxes, you can make it a little one. And you'll need some glue. I would recommend if you have tacky glue, great. If you don't, then the liquid glue is the best. The glue stick is not the best for things, and some tape and some scrap papers, magazines, that kind of thing. Because what you're going to be doing with this, and some little bits and odds, and I'll get into that a little more detailed later, but what you're really doing with this is you're going to be telling a story. So it's not just like throwing random things together. You're going to be telling a story with your assemblage about you. So think of it kind of like a self-portrait, but in a box, and no features of your face, but telling us something about who you are as a person, who you are inside. So I'm going to show you guys how to make this, and then you guys get to make one on your own. So we're going to get to that. Okay, so hopefully you've had a chance to look at some of Joseph Cornell's work and have gotten some inspiration, as well as you got to see my creation that I did. So going over the supplies again, I have some shells that I collected from the beach. I have some broken jewelry, little odds and ends, some random things that I kept for any project I want to do, especially for assemblage projects. So these are good things to collect. It's my little collecting bin. I got buttons and something that broke off of a box, some washers, an old key, some broken earrings, the tape roll, because those things can come in handy too, and just little odds and ends, things that are just lying around. I have some old maps because I really like maps and I like looking at maps. And remember, we want to kind of think about how this is going to reflect your own personality and who you are, making this personal to you. So I like the beach and I like shells, so I grabbed those. I'll see what I want to use out of here that makes sense too. And these were also from the beach. These are shells as well. And I like looking at maps, so that's about me. And birds are really important to me in my work. So I went through and found some pictures of birds in magazines. You can look through any magazine that you may have and find some images for that, because what we want to do is cover your box. So your box isn't going to look like it did at the beginning. And I have some string, just in case. I have a glue stick and I have liquid glue. The liquid glue, or even if you have tacky glue, if you're lucky enough to have that, that works even better. The glue stick is good for gluing down the paper, but not so much if you're going to glue down any of these objects. You need more liquid glue and a box. So I happen to have a cigar box lying around, but if you don't have a cigar box, if you have a shoe box, you can use a cereal box, just cut off the top. You can use any kind of box you have lying around. It doesn't have to be a cigar box. It just has to be a box because it's an assemblage, and assemblages happen mostly inside boxes. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start thinking about how I want to cover the inside of my box. And I think, because we're going to also want to cover the outside as well. I don't want this to look like a cigar box in the end. So I'm going to, I found this really big hummingbird picture, which I think will cover most of it. So that would be a really wonderful inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it inside, and I'm going to kind of mark off where the edges are. So see, I'm just measuring it by folding the paper in the box. I mean, you could be prepared to support. That actually kind of works too. I like to be prepared, and I like supporting our wildlife. So this piece of paper fits so nicely. I think I'm gonna keep it, the whole thing. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put, since I made that decision, move my box out of the way. This also covers a lot of territory really quickly, right? I'm just gonna put glue all around the edges and around those seams, because those seams are, we know, are where the edge, where it folds up. Okay, I'm gonna just getting the edges and getting those edges here, and then I'm gonna do a little crisscross at the bottom. Make sure I got this edge here. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring my box back, and I'm going to place it inside. Kind of smooth it down so it gets nice and stuck. And you gotta rub, when you do the glue stick, you gotta rub. Get it down in there. Make sure it's really tightly in there. Okay. Make sure I've got this rubbed down. And let me see. Now I want to find something for the sides, and so maybe I can put the burrowing owl and the cassowary as my side pieces. But there's a little bit of a white spot there still, which I don't want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out a little bit of this magazine map. Okay. So, and this is the area that I live in. So I'm going to cut that out. You notice right now I'm not being very fussy about it. I just want to cut out my neighbor, well, the general area where I live. So somewhere in here. Okay, and then I'm going to just do what we did before. I'm just going to lie it inside and just mark off. No, I didn't glue this guy down yet, so he's not going to be. It's nice in there. Okay, and so I'm just gonna put it inside, and I'm just gonna kind of rub those areas with my finger to make that crease. Okay, so then I know where to cut. And then if you noticed, it also went around here, but that's okay because I want to cover that side anyway, so I'm just going to fold this around. And then I'm going to give this a good glue. Okay, and with glue sticks, you always have to be fast. That should be about the right size. And I'm going to rub that down. Rub. Okay. And then I'm going to take my cassowary to stick my cassowary on top of the map, and now the cassowary has a nice background. And they're not here. It's an Australian bird, but you can go see them at the Wild Animal Park. They're very cool. Okay, and then I'm gonna do. Let me see. Is there another? You know, I really like the beach, but I think I'm gonna do, just for the sake of it, I'm just gonna cut there. Okay. And then get this thing out of the way. Okay. And so this way I have my love of maps and my love of birds all together. And, you know, I'm not going to be worried about putting the map right side up or upside down or any of that stuff. Alright, so now I'm going to rub, and we'll do the same thing, cut. It's easier than having to try and measure, right? And then I'm going to make sure I get all around here. Okay. And I'm going to stick that in, rub it down. Okay. And this one wants to come up, so I'm going to just put a little glue along the back of my board, just to give it a little extra. Okay, there, that's better. Okay, now I'm going to cap it. And then, oh, owlie goes on there. We need owlie on there. Our burrowing owl, which you can also see at the Wild Animal Park. Okay. When it reopens. There we go. So now I have my inside of my box covered and wallpapered. And I'm going to do the same thing to the outside. So I'll put down maps and put birds around the edges. You don't need to sit here and watch me do that, though. I think you guys have the idea now. So once you have everything covered, now you can create your three-dimensional assemblage. And you want to find something balanced. You want, it's the same thing in composition. You're just doing composition in 3 dimensions now instead of just flat. So you do want to find balance. You do want to find how things are going to work together. I like the string. If you notice, there's one of Joseph Cornell's. He has one that just has a bar going across and some simple things. And you know, like my spinner thing here would probably work really well, but maybe I want to dress it up a little bit. So it doesn't. It's not just a round circle thing. Ooh, and I have this guy too. This guy would be good. You're going to use everything you pull out. I do want to add a few shells because that'll make a nod to my love of going to the beach. So I'm going to pour a couple shells out. You guys have met my shells before. And now they're going to become a permanent part instead of a temporary. And the nice thing about shells is that you can string them. So I'm going to put my string, see if I can get my string to go through the shell. Yes. Okay. So I'm making a plan here. And this is, a lot of it is going to be improvising. I like the string because you can actually glue the string down. So I'm going to end up gluing it to the 2 sides. So it's going to go across the middle like so. And that's going to be telling my story. Maybe I want it down here because it's telling my story, the story of the beach. So I'm going to see if I have a couple other ones that have holes going all the way through. I don't want to make it too heavy or it won't hold. So those are things to keep in mind. And remember with glue, I was at the zoo earlier. I have the zoo on my mind. With glue, it takes pressure and time. So you have to pay attention. You have to be patient. So so now I have made my string a little bit longer than it needs to be because we're gonna trim it. but it's easier if it's longer than if it's shorter. I think I want, oh, and then we'll see if the key's too heavy, but it'd be kind of cool to have the key in the middle. The key is a secret. You don't get to hear it. Okay, and I have one more shell. I'm going to put 2 shells. So I'll have my key, 2 shells, and then 2 shells here. So it kind of becomes a pattern. Oh, this one's a good one. Kind of a similar size and shape, and I think I can get a string through it. If I can't, I'll just find another one. Oh, I can go through this way. So sometimes you have to look at things in multiple directions. It's not always going to be evident the first time you do it how it's going to work. Nope, my shell on the other side fell off, but I think I want a different one anyway. So I'm going to go for this one. Okay, if I can get that so. And again, it's not going in this way very easily, but maybe I can try this way. And sometimes your string knows it. If you don't have string and you have yarn or anything like that, you can use that too to hang things, to put things on. This one seems like it's going to be too heavy for my string. So you want to think weight is important too. Let me see if I have another one inside. And I forgot about these little treasures. Oh, these would be really cool too. Maybe I'll put these on the floor. Okay, but we'll get to that. So it's always good to leave your mind open to discovery. But also remember, keep this into thinking about how it reflects you as a person as well. Make this personal. That one doesn't want to work. Oh, this is a good one. Yay! Okay, so I have, and I know that they're going to go about here. Remember, it's going to come up, so it's going to be holding up. It's not going to be this direction. So what I'm going to do, and glue takes pressure and time. If you have cardboard, it's actually easier, because if you have a cardboard box, I could have just poked a hole, and then you could pull the string through and tie it. But I have a wooden box. I could also drill it, but we're gonna not do that today. And I don't unless you have adult supervision, I don't recommend you do either. Okay, so I know I'm gonna put the glue on that spot here, and it's gonna go from the cassowary's neck. And then, oh, let me check to see if it's, yeah, the key doesn't touch, so that's good. And then it's going to come to here. And glue does take pressure and time, so it's going to take a little while for me holding it. Again, you guys don't want to sit here and watch me do that. So while I'm working on that, I'm going to leave this to the side for a minute. We're going to pretend it's already attached. The other thing you can do also is use tape, because while the glue dries, the tape will hold it in place. So the tape can hold it in place while it dries. And then once it's dry, you can remove the tape. It's very handy that way. And if you don't have glue, and you do have tape, you could just use the tape as well. So there are all kinds of options. Oh, come here. I made it too tight, so the nice thing about tape is I can adjust too. Okay, so I need to give it a little more. Okay. Let me get my piece of tape here. Okay, voila. And I want to put it right where my thumb is to keep that string taut. Okay, so there. I got that part. And now I want these fun things to be on the ground. So I'm going to put some glue. Actually, I think I want them coming up, because they're also talking about my love of the sea. Okay, here, and then I'm going to put this one here. So I'm thinking about balance, and you know, don't be too quick to glue. You want to play around with your ideas. Think about them. Maybe new things will come to you. The nice thing about these shells is they kind of stick on there pretty tightly. And again, if you have a cardboard box, you have an advantage over me. Owlie fell! Okay, so I'm going to put Owlie back on. Alright, that goes back on. Okay, and when I stand this up, they'll go the other way. And you want to keep this simple. There's if you look at Joseph Cornell's pieces, they're not that, I think I need more string. What do you guys think? They're not they don't have a lot going on. They're very simple. So you want to leave, okay, there. Once Owlie dries, it'll be better. And once the glue dries, it'll be better. Okay, so I got one of those down there. And like I said, don't be too quick. I remember thinking about, you have multiple dimensions to look at. Okay, so I think that's enough of my shells. And, oh, I like this one though too. Maybe you can go up here. Right? But I like it this way. So that's a possibility. I could also string this one and have it hanging from the top. So I'm going to do that. Because you can hang it from all kinds of places. It can be in the middle, it can be in the back. I'm going to move things forward. Okay. So I got this on a string. So I'm going to just tie that end. And of course, yours are going to be whatever things are important to you. So I picked out 3 things that were important to me, and those are the things I'm looking at. But you also need to think about the 3 things some things that are important to you. Okay, so I'm going to put a little glue there. You know what? Now that I put the glue there, I think I want it to be coming from the middle down here. So once again, I'm going to use the tape to anchor it while the glue dries. Nice. And so on and so forth until you have what we would call a balanced composition. So things are, remember, your eye wants to move around, you're telling your story, and you're filling it with things that are important to you. And there might be more than just 3 things that are important to you. I'm not going to make that determination. You have to. All right. So you guys don't need to sit here and watch me do the rest of it. So go ahead and pause your video and go ahead and make your own Joseph Cornell assemblage. And we'll meet back here when you're done. So all right, now that you've made your assemblage, I hope you had a lot of fun making it, and you're going to make lots more. But tell somebody in your family or write down, what did you learn about composition and balance? Was it hard to find ways to make the things fit together? How did hanging those things work? What was it challenging? So what did you learn about that? And what does your assemblage say about you? So how did you make it personal? And so hopefully we'll make another one and have fun with these in the future. So happy art making, stay safe, and I will see you next time.